which one's cat and which one's not.
This one is not a cat. This one is a wall. The Canny Rob wall.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the T.O.A podcast. I am your host, Onvermel, and greeted today here I have Ek with me. How's it going, Ek?
Could be better, could be worse. Things are going.
Yeah, life's a little just, I don't know, so I'll be honest. Both of us were just kind of like not having a lot of energy today. It's one of those weeks, people. It's one of those weeks.
But you gotta do it for all the 12 people listening and watching.
Yeah, pretty much that's the average view count if we're lucky. But today we're going to talk about projectile launchers.
There was a few of them.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk specifically about Bionicle, but okay. So
we had a brief little hiccup there, but we didn't lose anything important. We're assuming.
Goo's on my keyboard, I think. Yeah. No, a lot of different projectile launchers. I think like the earliest one that Legos ever technically came out with was the spring-loaded Technic cannon, I believe. Right? I'm not wrong about that.
The earliest one that I could think of.
I mean, you could always say that catapults were projectile launchers.
Well, it was a launcher, and it
but
was
even then,
launching a projectile. So
but I don't really think that as a launcher. That's more of a flipper, a tosser.
Really weren't very
it's more
many
of a tosser, really.
Specific catapult pieces.
Yeah, because they were kind of shovels that Space also used.
With a few Technic pins.
I think the first official catapult piece was used in 2000 with Knight's Kingdom. And even then, the Technic spring-loaded projectile launchers take our first. Which was only ever really used once in Bionicle with the T.O.A.
Yep, the one and only.
See, it's one of those things where it's like, I like the piece.
Unless you count some of the system sets.
Yes.
Because Tower of T.O.A.
Had two. Actually, had two of them. I think it actually is the only one with that one for all the system ones. I don't know if any of the others actually did. But
not that we own many of them, so we can't say 100% for sure.
See, I like that launcher, but it is very
got a twitchy trigger finger.
I have too many of them.
Yeah, they're not very useful.
That's the thing. The problem is they have like really no use. Although technically Bionicle did use the bullets with the Tarkava, so that they did kind of get used there. But and like the gun piece is fine. They're just
they can add some interesting texture
now and then.
Spaceship.
The problem is they're big and bulky, so when you get a lot of them, you kind of.
And they've only got Technic connections, so it makes it a little trickier.
Let's be honest, no one needs like 50 of them. Well, I say that, but there's probably that one dude out there who's like, all right, challenge accepted, I'll use 50. He's
making like some sort of Gatling gun using 50 of them.
Okay, that'd be actually really entertaining to see. I'd pay to see that, not really. But, I don't know, the Lego basically older projectile, it's like funny, like, that was the only first one they had for a while until they used the flick fire. Which Bionicle never used at all.
No.
Bionicle had their own projectile launchers while System was off flick firing the heck out of everything.
And some of the Bionicle ones basically made their way into System.
Zamor's launchers.
The Thornax launcher.
Specifically
even the Thornax fruit ball thing made its way to System for a couple sets.
Yeah, but like the Thornax the Zamosphere launch only made it to a few, but the Zamosphere launch or the Thornax launcher redesign has definitely been used the most heavily. It's pretty much the go-to if you want a big ball as a projectile. And
the fact that it's compatible with the, Zamor sphere.
Yeah. Personally speaking, I don't like system sets using it.
It doesn't really work. Plus, it's easy to knock the ball off and lose it and running around.
The ball worked well with the Zamosphere launcher because it kept it in place.
When you had something on top.
The Thornax with the Thornax launcher was fine, but like when you had the ball in the Thornax launcher, I've never really liked it. I think the redesign
also just never looks.
It looks incomplete.
It looks tacky.
That because you don't have anything filling up around the hand. Because like the redesign was designed during Hero Factory, and they always had like that shield piece that would cover it up or something. Or they would have a fist, and it would.
That was one thing about Hero Factory. They made the Zamor launcher look a little more impressive, other than a couple sticks holding your hand.
True, they had the whole other top piece as well.
Made it look more like a gun and less like couple squeezy things.
A glorified slingshot. I don't know if that's an accurate description, but I'm using it.
It doesn't sound that inaccurate.
It sounds just right enough that it could maybe in a court of law count, maybe. But I think my favorite projectile launcher has always been the disc launcher. I've Every other projectile launcher I've had issues with to some degree,
Even though some disc launches we've had issues with. Vakama, we're looking
and
at
even the
you.
Vaki, to be honest.
The Vaki were better than Vakama. The thing is, where the Vaki you're supposed to shoot is way too far back. If you actually just clamp their jaws shut, it worked way better.
Yeah, but like just as like an aesthetic look, I just liked disc launchers. Although to be honest, I also have just way too many extra disc launcher pieces too.
I don't have any extra right now.
Oh really?
I've managed to use all mine up in a mock here and a mock there. Unless you count, I may have one that's like bent way open.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. You see, the problem with any projectile launcher, except for one, is that the launcher piece is pretty much useless when you have too many of them. The
And
only
you tend to end up with extra launchers and not enough ammo.
well, the only exception to that is the spring-loaded launcher that most system sets use now, that 1x4 brick spring-loaded launcher.
Ah, yes.
That's like I would say probably the best launch because not only is the bullets not that easy to lose, the launcher is just a brick with a hole in it that's a spring in it, so you can use it for other stuff. And two,
Got a nice little aesthetic to it.
it's very. I mean, it's perfect for Star Wars creations. It was pretty much designed for like a TIE fighter, I'm pretty sure. And the Bionicle, like obviously, like construction figures never use that.
Well, yes, the Star Wars in their guns.
Oh right, they did, which was that was
It's
actually
pretty much-
really nice.
Not the earliest. No.
No, but it was actually not a bad use of them overall.
They were
Better,
hidden
definitely
quite well.
better than the stud launchers.
I hate stud launchers. All variations of it.
The Gatling gun stud launcher isn't terrible if you have decent colors.
I have found use for those
I
pieces.
I find them in black are actually kind of useful. Dark black can use maybe a couple, but again,
I'm thinking specifically black too.
well, yeah, I know you like using them for masks on both sometimes. Just because
It's 2 studs wide's too small and 4 studs wide's too big, and there's not enough 3 stud wide round things. So these
not really.
Gatling gun stud launchers, it's not the most stable, but
You get this
I
trick
can
done.
work around that.
See, one thing I like about the stud launchers is you don't have a whole bunch of extra ammo, useless parts. However, that's also the same problem because you get a whole bunch of extra 1x1 plates in trans colors that you're never going to need more of.
I have so many trans red, it's not even funny.
Now maybe it's a little bit funny. I'll laugh at it, but nah, it's like I say, like launchers in general. Lego generally gets like a new launcher every 5 years.
We're,
Give or
we're
take.
not going to delve into the squid launcher.
Which, you know what, it's weird, now that I'm older, I actually know how to shoot them. And they seem to work a lot better, but they're still hilarious. Because we actually had one time where we shot a squid launcher and it went behind us. We got negative.
It actually went backwards.
We got negative distance somehow with a squid launcher. Which is like, I don't know how we managed that. I don't know what we did. I just know that we managed to accomplish that at some point.
Once you actually figure out how to work the squid launcher, it's actually not a bad launcher.
One of my, aesthetically, I think the coolest looking launcher, like just pure coolness, actually might be the Kodak blaster. Although the problem, and they have like one of the most cool looking ammo. The problem with the Kodak blaster is it's big, bulky, and you only need like very few of them, and you always have too many extra.
And usually you're low on bullets too, so they look empty, which isn't a bad aesthetic at least. It looks more like a gun when the bullets aren't in it.
But it has the same problem that like Nerf, like the Nerf gun,
The Maverick.
the Maverick, is where you get bullet jamming sometimes because the same kind of like air pressure, I think.
Oh yeah, it works on the
system.
exact same principles as Nerf gun. Air, shoot, bullet.
And unfortunately, some of them just don't work. I mean, when you get a Kodak blaster, get all 6 of them to fire off rapidly.
Sometimes it's all about pressure. Like if you push hard enough, usually you can get them all to go.
Yeah, but when you're
But
younger,
not all
when
the
you're
time.
younger teenage yourself, you didn't always have the finger strength to do that, which I definitely didn't always.
You also, definitely as a kid, I didn't think to push hard enough all the time.
Don't
It's like,
be angry.
I'm pushing all of them. Why aren't they coming out?
Be angry, essentially. Never. Guns are violent, kids. Be violent. But pretty much everyone is just like always come down to the same problem of once Lego starts using it, they use them a lot because every set apparently needs some sort of projectile launcher, which I get in the
One of the
case
worst
of
things Lego ever did was put stud guns in Star Wars battle packs.
yeah, that okay. The very first time they used a handheld stud gun with Bad Cop, you know what?
No,
I
it's
thought that
kind
was funny. I thought it was kind of cute. They're like, oh, they're using a stud as a weapon. It's the Lego movie.
and he just plants tracking devices on everyone. That's all he actually does.
Yeah, it's like it's fine. There's
Oh, that's
nothing.
cool weapon for the Lego movie. That's nice. Oh, let's move on.
But then it was
Oh,
everywhere in Star Wars, and he even creeped out of the battle packs for a little bit because the Raptor cage escape set. I can't remember the exact name of that set, but the two red droid, I think they're droids.
I don't know.
I don't know. They actually has stud guns on two of the mooks, which I thought was really. And let's be honest, we're tired of battle packs having stud shooters. Because when you get like a big army of Star Wars characters, no one wants stud shooters. No one wants them. Sure, and even for kids,
You
it's
want a
like,
big army for the looks, not and the stud blasters really ruin the look.
and even with like kids, like aren't
You
you?
may as well go back to the old megaphone with the trans orange stud on it.
Hey, at least you weren't going to be randomly losing the random when we went around stud and who knows where.
And there's something just a little bit classic about using the old megaphone blaster.
I think that's just nostalgia talking. 100% nostalgia. Which, I accept it. I accept it. But yeah, no, stud shooters are definitely the worst blaster or any projectile launcher. And unfortunately, Bionicle got the curse of it in Gen 2, where all the protectors had it. All the no, not all the skull villains, just the one actually.
Gatling gun,
Well, the
chest,
skull,
Korgot.
the skull warrior had it, and then Chemo versus Skull Grinder had it because his
Gun
although I
hammer.
do like his gun. You know what? I kind of like his gun hammer. And then when Anua had the next, like Bonko, I think did the best.
The integration in Korgot's chest as a weapon chest.
Like I said,
It's very unique.
My favorite is just the gun hammers. I'm sorry, I just love gun hammers. I just think that's hilarious.
It's a very interesting combination of.
I mean, let's be honest. The
Guns
Uniter,
and hammers.
Uniter Anua had a gun hammer drill. He had a 3-in-1. It had a drill, a gun, and it was a hammer. The only thing was missing was a kitchen sink, and I bet he could make one out of that. Given the opportunity, given the opportunity, he could make a kitchen sink out of a drill.
Bad impressions every Thursday night.
I do end up doing at least some sort of voice every night. That's good. No one, not people watch this to care if I offend or assault anyone, unless I insult them to their face. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start going to people's face and I'm going to insult you on a podcast.
Tune in next week
that'll,
when I insult
that'll be my
your
threat
brother.
that'll just be my threat to people. I insult them on the podcast.
I will insult you twice on this podcast. Your podcast? Yes, please check it out.
I'm also,
Tell all your friends.
It's funny is I'm actually learning that people are slowly, like customers are slow, like where I work are slowly beginning to realize that I'm into Lego, and it's just kind of funny how people slowly begin to bring it up more. And I'm like, am I just going to start getting known as I used to be known as the guy with long hair, but now I don't have long hair anymore. I used to be, actually, no, first I was the guy cashier because I was the only one. Then I was known as the guy with long hair, and now I'm going to be known as the Lego guy. I'm like, apparently I'm just not Onvermel. I don't have a name, Onvermel. That's my name. And a little side tangent, but I did find that kind of amusing that, because I don't generally tell people Lego's my hobby off the bat. That's usually people learn. Maybe that's why I don't get viewership. I don't tell
I
everybody.
tend to tell why people write. They tend to know pretty quickly.
I mean, let's be honest. When people ask, "What do you do in your spare time?" I'm pretty sure that will come up pretty quickly.
Yeah, pretty much.
People generally don't ask what I do in my spare time because I talk so much that people don't get a chance to ask.
Talk.
Hey, it's what I do. It's what I do.
It's what he does a lot.
Quite a lot.
I wouldn't say well, but he just does it a lot.
Yeah, like I say, talking is my favorite pastime. It's not a skill. It's not a when I'm a professional at. It's just my pastime. But actually, no. Wait, I was wrong about the first projectile launcher.
Oh.
Look to your right. What do you see over there? Okay, what is it? What do you see? What do you see on the ledge?
Oh,
Oh, so how did...
yes. How could we possibly forget the one that was basically illegal in North America that they had to change the mold?
The cannon.
The pirate cannon.
Because, yeah, they were designed at that point where
It's
projectile...
funny. You couldn't shoot around one by one back in the day, but nowadays you can shoot a piece a third the size.
Well, back in the day, it was more so just the controversy with that one
Battlestar Galactica.
and then that Boba Fett figure got screwed out of it, and then I don't know how long that ban lasted for, because I don't know when that original toy had killed someone. I'm not sure.
Well, the shooting cannon was back in North America in 2009. I know that much.
Well, yeah, but like the thing is, like, they might just not bother to change a mold, so it took them a while to get a new shooting one.
For a while, they didn't even have cannons.
That is true. I mean, with the re-releases and such, and then Wild West
Well,
kept it around for a while.
The re-released Black Seas Barracuda probably, I don't know. I don't
last for a while.
I don't think it had the shooting cannons. I'd have to check my copy, and it is.
I believe yours doesn't have shooting cannons.
So yeah, so and that was 2002, and then 2009 was when the new part.
I think they phased out shooting. I think they started.
And I don't think anywhere in between they actually really had cannons.
I think they phased out shooting cannons when Wild West came out, because that's when they got the redesign. And so probably for North American sets, they were probably giving them that. Actually, I know Zach had gone at Black Seas Barracuda, and the cannons on there are the black trigger non-pullback. The oh crap, we need to design these to not pull back.
Let's take the spring out.
Which resourceful young Eck found a way to fix
I have a black transitional handle cannon that will shoot with some help from tape to keep. Yeah, you can take a cannon apart. You got to push little pins in and pull it out, and yeah. All you gotta do is add a spring, and your little black thing can shoot.
Well, the thing is, when we got that one in that just loose parts of Lego, we didn't realize that there were basically
transitional ones that didn't shoot.
Exactly. So we just thought it was broken. And I believe you had Dad help you with that one. So.
Oh yes, I definitely remember being in the shop trying to find a spring that would work.
How the heck did we forget about the cannons? Which honestly, cannons are the compared to all the Bionicle, cannons are the #1 projectile launcher. Not only is their bullets not too small that's impossible to find, they are, first off, look perfect. The form of a cannon in real life is a projectile launcher, so you're not like, it's not this weird like foreign looking part no, that is a cannon. It actually shoots, and they're not too strong usually that the bullets completely like whatever.
They're not gonna hurt anyone. Unless you like hit them in their eye or something. As
every Lego instruction tells you, do not do that.
Don't shoot people in their eyes.
And to this day, I've never shot someone in the eye with the projectile launcher, unless it doesn't give me the warning. Then I will do it. And Lego, you hear that? If you don't put that in there, I'm shooting someone in the eye.
I may have shot someone in the face.
Well, I know I got hit in the face by an elastic band by a coworker one time.
They were probably aiming for your face, though.
No, they weren't. They felt really bad about it.
That reminds me of the time that I whipped you good with a towel.
Oh gosh. You did a little towel whip and got like the most perfect towel whip and had left a little welt.
It had such a wonderful crack.
The amount of force and the smallest amount of point was perfect. I was pissed for like half an hour. I thought it was.
I thought I had missed him at first.
And then because there was a moment of shock.
It was also just that close.
The most dangerous projectile launcher, siblings.
Well, don't arm your siblings with projectile launchers, otherwise you will get squids shot at you.
Or
Zamor balls, or Thorax fruit.
Okay, I will say that with squids, they are the most unique projectile, and honestly one of my favorites.
It's a very interesting and cool Lego piece, to be honest.
It's just a really weird ammo. Actually, that reminded me, the Near Ghost Blasters, as the last other Bionicle one, I think are probably one of the most consistent working ones. If you just get a good enough pump with it, it'll work it'll almost work all the time. I love the sound it makes, and the ammo is actually pretty cool looking. They don't fall out like Zamors do. Even discs.
They don't really
even discs plop out. Well, most I find usually do. Only few won't, and the guns aren't too big, and they're actually outside the pump part. They're actually have uses for the handle.
The fact that it's multiple parts put together just makes it a little more versatile.
I would say that's the most versatile Bonk weapon, but discs are still my favorite.
Let's not forget the upgrade of the Zamor launcher, the Mid-X Sky Blaster.
Oh, the Mid-X Sky Blaster. If you want
that's basically just a techno cannon.
If you want the most powerful launcher, that's the one.
We may have to actually test this out.
I do want to do that, so I still have plans to grab all the Bionicle launchers.
Shoot them at one of our siblings.
And they're maybe we can have one of us be the test dummy. Basically,
well, first we gotta do two things: which one hurts the most, and which one's got the greatest distance.
Well, distance, accuracy, consistency, accuracy, distance, and then like painfulness, and then spinners, obviously. As launchers go, they are one of the best because they're so small. However, they get the ripcord, which I have mixed feelings about.
Yeah. You obviously need the ripcord for it to work.
I found some uses for the ripcord. However, the problem with the spinners, they don't stay in. The ripcord's
the worst.
They don't stay in. The ripcord's kind of useless. The little yellow piece is completely useless. And even the ripcord, this launcher itself, is maybe small, but it's asymmetrical.
Yeah, that's a really annoying part. It's asymmetrical. It's really annoying when you're using the film, like your thighs or legs or arm or whatever.
You're never going to match. Spinners are a heck of fun. But as as a launcher, you know what? I probably like them better than squid launchers. But no, they're not good. They're not good. And then
the squid launcher is one of my least favorite Bionicle parts for sure.
I mean, I ironically like it out of memeness, just because it's so bad that it's almost funny now. I mean, let's be honest, becoming basically a meme amongst us brothers about the squid launcher.
It doesn't help that it's all rubbery.
Which is why I love...
But it does kind of make it more useful for mocking.
The rubberness has some advantages. But I do like that even in Reviving Bionicle, the squid launch, you can tell, the person had the exact same thought we had squid launchers.
Well, the whole Bionicle community kind of had disdain for the squid launcher.
That's because they just failed so bad at shooting most of the time. I think because most of us were just dumb kids and didn't know how to use it properly. I think a lot of it came down to, because I've noticed when a lot of people try using them now, this seems to be easier, which I just find rather amusing. But yeah, no, overall, those Legos had a lot of different launchers, mostly made through Bionicle. So I mean, the system was only really basically your leached off Bionicle or had the stud shooters and the spring-loaded bullets.
The flick fires, the proto flick fires.
The flick fires, though. The best thing about they were the most useful any projectile launcher because they were still technically just a stick piece, really. And
a stick with a stud, even Lego themselves have realized this is a useful piece. We can use it for other things.
I've used it so many. There was a point where I ran out of that piece and I was like, I need more flick fires. Now, flick fires were not integrated as well into mocks or into sets because you have to access them with the flicking function, but
especially the early ones, they were pretty bad. Like the Space Police guns, Space Police 3. Some of the earliest flick fires. Those are. I've got this handheld thing and I'm gonna shoot a missile out of it.
At least Lego learned that when it came down to flick fire guns, they only did it for the one wave, unlike stud. Oh no, not technically. They used it one other place for the Space Police 3, but at least unlike stud shooters, they knew to call it a quits. But no, the Space Police 3 flick fire gun, I believe the only other time it was used as a handgun was Zerg.
Yep.
Which I like that. No, I would prefer if Lego sets didn't have projectile launchers, but sometimes they are fun, and I understand as a toy. But I'm I keep waiting for just the perfect projectile launcher, and then that'll be the greatest day of our young lives. Or not so young lives. We're getting old.
Getting old.
I mean, you're almost 30, 29?
Don't give away my age.
No one will know, though. No one will know who you are.
I am definitely much closer to 30 than 20.
Maybe you're a 40-year-old man and I'm just being nice, huh?
Well, I'm definitely closer to 30 than 20. Let's put it that way.
I'm closer to 20 than 30, but not for long. I'm pretty much in the dead center. But, yeah, no, projectile launchers. There's a lot of bad. There's some good. But there's nothing great. Except for maybe the great discs. This has been the T.O.A. Podcast. I have been your host, Onvermel. And that is a Candy Raw Bowl. And we are retiring from the night.